This is a good time to take a look at Ferguson 365, the film you're the director of. And what I'm thinking of specifically is, I was amazed watching Eyes on the Prize how much footage there is, how much footage there was to cull and just really pull the history from. Infinitely more cameras in Ferguson. And I thought it was interesting how you cut together this teaser, this sizzle reel here. Let's take a look from a different perspective, physically, on this film.
When we're born, we know nothing about anger and pain, conflict. We inherit it from the world in which we live.
Brittany Noble spoke with police who say the officer involved in the shooting didn't know about Brown's involvement in the robbery at that time.
Everybody agrees the guy has his hands up, and a cop shoots him anyway.
And Al Sharpton has the nerve to insult the American police community. Men and women risking their lives to protect us.
We're not anti-police, but we're anti-brutality.
We have a broken justice system. It is not fair.
For the second time in as many weeks, a grand jury has found the evidence is just not there to charge a white police officer in connection with the death of a black civilian.
No, they don't! Lives matter!
School and graduate. You know how many black men graduate?
Anything you could have done differently that would have prevented that killing from taking place?
No.
Nothing?
No. If he would have gotten on the sidewalk, when followed Dorian Johnson to the sidewalk, I probably never would have noticed cigarillos. I would have gone and gotten lunch and continued my day. He would have continued his.
Henry Hampton did Eyes on the Prize years after much of what he was documenting had happened. What's the challenge of doing it so soon, and why?
I mean, I think the challenge for me as a filmmaker is really to capture the essence of really what was going on. I think the biggest challenge for me is to not make sure that it just identifies only with African Americans, but people across the world, people far removed from Ferguson, and really so that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, people really understood what happened here, really understand the tragedy in it, how a man's life, his humanity was disrespected.
Is this an overwhelming task? Because it seems like it would be.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the volumes of footage.
Yeah, I mean, I shot everything in there with these two hands and been from here to DC and New York and Baltimore, and so it is a challenge. I mean, finding where the story is in a theatrical sense, just telling it, and it was a lot. It was a lot.
And then Judy mentioned her brother was intentional about having a multiracial team work on each episode, and it was intentional about that. It sounds like you have some of those same intentions, whether or not your production team is multiracial, but you're talking about appealing, or not appealing, maybe the wrong word, but reaching a large audience.
I mean, really, actually, the short I did all by myself. So the feature right now, I'm producing and directing it, but I do have a little bit of a diverse team as far as the post-production side goes, but yeah, I mean,
you would love to have any kind of team. We're taking volunteers. In fact, audience, this is where you come into play. You're all going home to edit film tonight. You didn't know this when you got here.
Put y'all on payroll.